Greetings, YouTube viewers, and aloha! So recently my wife and I, we took a Hawaiian cruise where we cruised around all the different islands in Hawaii, and we wanted to share some of our experiences. Today, we are going to be talking about our time on Kauai. We're going to share just a few of the activities that we did, and I'm going to give my review of those activities. So, here we go. So one of the first things that we did is we got our rental car and we jumped in, and as we were driving it was raining, and we were greeted very, very quickly on the island of Kauai with a rainbow. One thing that we've learned is that camera lenses have nothing on the human eye. Nothing compares to what you see in real life.
Thank you, Hans. Nothing else in the universe can do what you do.
Here we get to show you that we did find a very pretty rainbow. After we got our rental car, the first thing we did was we drove up towards Princeville and Hanalei Town up towards Tunnel Beach. The first stop that we made, this is a little church that I had heard about, so when we saw it on the side of the road we had to pull over. It's the Waioli Huiia Church, and I'm butchering it, and I apologize to all of my Hawaiian friends. But so we did stop and take a look at this, and it was a very pretty property. I wish we could have gone inside and gotten a little bit of history about the church, but there wasn't anyone there. So, but we'll go ahead and show you some of the video and pictures we got from this church. As you can see here, just a very pretty property, lots of open space. Here we got that white, traditional looking Hawaiian gathering place, pretty palm trees. We were there in December, so it is the rainy season. It was very gray and misty. It wasn't the bright, sunny green like most people know Hawaii to be, but it was still enjoyable. Very pretty place to go. Here we've got just a snapshot of the church. And here's the stained glass window. Very, very pretty color, very pretty scene. Would definitely recommend stopping after your hour or so drive if you're driving from Lihue. It's definitely worth getting out, stretching your legs, walking around, and just observing the property. Definitely recommend. Here we're coming up on the Hanalei Bridge. It's a one-lane bridge, but it's a very popular, it's the only way to get to Hanalei. Prior to this, there's a lookout up on top of the hill that looks over Hanalei town. And we weren't able to stop because they were doing road construction, but you could glance over and it looked like a very, very pretty outlook. And so I would, if you're able to, I would recommend stopping at that outlook and getting some beautiful pictures. After we passed through Hanalei town, we made our way to Tunnels Beach. On the other side of the road from Tunnels Beach, there's this cave that you can walk into. It goes back pretty deep, and so it was actually a very, very interesting place to be. We do have video that we'll show you coming up just now. So here we are walking into the cave. You've got the vines hanging down. Just a really, really cool place. And you can see how big it is. You see the people there, scale, size, and it goes back quite a way. We actually didn't go all the way in because once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, kind of seen it. You can see how large it is. To the left there, you see some people coming out. It curves around that direction, gets quite a bit darker. And here we are. We went back pretty far. As you can see, it's dark, but then coming back out, I just wanted to get an idea, show you the outside. And as you can see, it got a little humid in there, some moisture on the lens. But this is a place I would recommend going if you're going to be going up to the Princeville area or farther onto Hanalei Bay. I would recommend going up to this tunnels area. And coming out of the dark, you see that just very vivid, bright green color. I mean, that's why people go to Hawaii, is to see that, especially Kauai, the Garden State. After we came out of the tunnel, we walked across the street to Tunnels Beach. This is a picture of us. As I mentioned, it was gray, cloudy, but you still get the pretty green. And here is Mrs. Grumpy Greg. She found a coconut just lying on the beach. After we finished at the beach, we went back to our car at the parking lot and grabbed one last shot of what the tropical island of Kauai looks like. I'd say I'd give it a 4. Something definitely to visit. This is a picture. We made it to Hanalei town, and when we were parking our car, we looked in and we just saw this mountain, all of the different waterfalls that are running down off the mountain. Just a very pretty thing. Here we got a little bit of a closer view as we zoom in. Just real pretty. Of course, the eyes are much better at capturing it than the camera lenses. Next up on our agenda, we were told that we have to have shave ice when you go to Hawaii. We were told specifically by our friends who go to Kauai often that their favorite is JoJo's. So we stopped at JoJo's and got a shave ice. So the shave ice that we chose to get was called the North Shore, and it has macadamia nut ice cream in the bottom, and then the flavorings of the syrups were melon, lychee, and pineapple. Rating this shave ice from JoJo's, the macadamia nut ice cream did have a very good macadamia nut flavor. I will give them that. The syrups, they were good. The pineapple one was good. My wife did not like the lychee one. She said it tasted like soap. But I like lychee, so I was okay with it. But overall, the experience of eating shave ice, although yeah, it's a good treat, it's not really something that I personally really thought that it was worth going to. So personally, I would rate it at probably a 3. After eating our shave ice, we made our way to Hanalei Bay. We wanted to see the pier, we wanted to see the scenery. Here's a picture of that. Again, cloudy, unfortunately. But you still see the beauty of the area. As we were walking out onto the pier, you just get this shot down the coastline, back to the mountains. You see the sunlight coming through the clouds a little bit, give you those sun rays. And there were a lot of people out there surfing. So it was fun to stand on the pier and just watch the surf go in and watch the people learning how to surf. A lot of them were novices, but it looked like it was fun and it was an enjoyable time watching them. Here we're standing on the pier with the video this time. Watch the waves roll in. As we were leaving Hanalei town, there was a lookout where you can look over these taro farms. Definitely worth a stop. Don't really get to do much, but it is a very pretty valley, and here's just a still picture of that so you can catch a glimpse of just how pretty it is. On our way back from Hanalei town, we chose not to get reservations because we got there kind of late, and so we weren't going to be able to spend much time there. Plus, they have an overlook where you can look at it, so we decided just to stand there for a little while and get some pictures and some video. It was very windy, but I guess you can't really hear the waves down below. So that ended our first day in Kauai. The next day, we ventured over to the western side of the island. We went up to Waimea Canyon, we went to Poipu Beach, and we also drove through the tree tunnel. Here's us. We did a time lapse of us, or a zoom fast time lapse of us driving through the tree tunnel. I thought that the tree tunnel would be a lot more covered. Honestly, we've driven through tunnels like this on Maui, and they seem to be just as good, if not even better, on Maui. So wasn't all that impressed with that one, but it was still an experience. Next, we drove up to Waimea Canyon. We drove all the way up to the lookout, and when we got up there, we learned that it costs money to walk up a couple flights of steps to look over the edge. It's $20, I believe. That includes the $10 for the parking and then $5 per person. So it would have been $20. The issue was that it was really rainy and it was misty up there, and so we figured we wouldn't be able to see it, and so we chose not to pay the $20 to just go up and be disappointed. So we started making our way back down because on the drive up we noticed that there were a lot of pull-off areas where we could get some sights. And honestly, I think that I'm sure it's very pretty up at the top as well, but I thought we got just as many pretty views without having to pay the money for it. This is one of the areas where we pulled off. The sun started to come out, but we had pretty good visibility. You could see the contrasting colors between the red dirt and the green from the plants. And another angle looking up the canyon. This one you have the river winding through the valley there. And here's Mr. and Mrs. Grumpy Greg. After Waimea Canyon, we drove down to Poipu Beach. We had intention of snorkeling, but when we got out of our car, I realized that we didn't bring our snorkel gear. So we just kind of sat on the beach for a little bit. It is a very pretty beach, nice sand, clear blue water. The sun was out, so that was good. You get some rocks out in the water, so you get the black contrast of the lava rock. As we were trying to find a spot, we noticed that there was a monk seal had crawled up onto the beach to take a nap. And so that was fun. We didn't have the opportunity to see a seal our first time to Hawaii, so it was fun to see one this time around. We thought he was going to go and jump back into the water here, but he never made it. He just wanted to get a little closer to get into the sand that wasn't as dry. On the way back, we passed the Lihue Theater, and it gives some very good advice to all of us, and that is to live aloha. So after that, we just went back to our cruise ship. I wasn't feeling well that day, so we went back so I could get some rest. That was actually the last day of our cruise, so we're kind of starting in the end and working through, but it was a good experience. I'm glad we got to see it. Overall, I think my rating of the island of Kauai would I'd probably say like a 3.5. And I'm sorry if I offend anyone by saying that. It was a very pretty place, but it just didn't seem to have the same number of possible activities as the other islands did. So a 3.5 for me for the island of Kauai. But we appreciate everyone being here. Mahalo. And we hope that you have a good day. Aloha.